way it played out yesterday is the way that I thought it would, is that Shedeur right now is the fourth team quarterback. He did not take any team reps yesterday. Sometimes there's misinformation that comes out of an OTA like that, but he just did not take any team reps. And not just that he wasn't the second guy or the first guy. He didn't take any 11 on 11s yesterday, but they are making him come up the learning curve and earn his way.
People kind of went crazy over something I wrote last week, that Deshaun's going to have a chance to come in and compete. I didn't say Deshaun was going to come in and be the starting quarterback. I do think that it will be someone else. I don't know if it will be a rookie that they bring in. I don't know if it will be someone
as the fourth team quarterback, and maybe not necessarily someone that they are trying to get ready as fast as possible to start on opening day. Not saying that he can't, because he's being given a chance just like everyone else. But he's in a bit of a different category right now, to see what sticks, to see what works. And they're not necessarily doing that with Shedeur right now. With Shedeur, he's on a bit of a different track. He's right now the fourth team quarterback. He's doing great with what he's being asked to do. Everybody's very, very happy with how he's coming along. Everybody's optimistic about what they're seeing with him.
Gabriel instead.
You're going to lose your veteran Pro Bowl players early on in the season. So that's the way that I see it kind of shaking out in the end. But the Browns are also very, very excited about Dillon Gabriel, their third-round pick. He's very upbeat. He's very positive. He's very forthcoming. He's great at the microphone. He does a really, really nice job, like I said before, with the reps that are given to him. And he's fun to be around. He's got a really, really dynamic...
Picture this. A respected NFL reporter sits confidently behind her microphone, dismissing a rookie quarterback as fourth team material, while the entire Cleveland Browns locker room is buzzing about this same player's incredible potential. What she doesn't realize is that karma is about to serve her the most public reality check of her career. Mary Kay Cabot's quiet war against Shedeur Sanders isn't just professional skepticism, it's become a pattern. So obvious that even casual fans are starting to notice. Every single time Shedeur starts to shine, every moment he builds momentum, she mysteriously shifts the spotlight elsewhere. But here's what makes this story absolutely fascinating. While she's been busy crafting narratives to diminish his impact, the veterans who actually work with him daily have been telling a completely different story. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how this played out, why her credibility took a massive hit, and the moment even she had to admit what everyone else already knew. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why this isn't just about sports reporting, it's about what happens when bias meets undeniable talent. Let me paint you a picture of how systematic this dismissal has been, because when you see the pattern laid out, it becomes impossible to ignore. From the very moment Shedeur Sanders stepped into the Browns facility, Mary Kay Cabot seemed determined to write him out of the story before it even began. It started during OTAs, when the football world was buzzing with excitement about Cleveland's draft picks. While other reporters were documenting Shedeur's impressive arm strength and natural leadership qualities, Cabot was busy floating a different narrative entirely. She suggested that Deshaun Watson's return meant a rookie had to go. And while she never said Shedeur's name directly, the implication was crystal clear. This wasn't analysis, this was agenda setting. But here's where it gets really interesting. When people called her out for this obvious slight, she doubled down with an even more damaging claim. She positioned Shedeur as the fourth team quarterback, suggesting he wasn't even being prepared for a starting role. Think about that for a moment, a fifth-round pick who's turning heads in practice, building chemistry with receivers, and earning respect from veterans. Yet she's painting him as barely relevant to the team's future plans. The most telling part, her language choices. Notice how she said there, making him come up the learning curve and earn his way, as if this was somehow different from every other rookie quarterback in NFL history. Every successful quarterback has had to prove themselves. But the way she framed it made it sound like Shedeur was being held to some impossible standard that others weren't. What makes this pattern even more suspicious is the timing. Every single time positive reports about Shedeur started gaining traction, whether from practice observers, teammate interactions, or coaching staff comments, Cabot would mysteriously publish something that redirected attention away from him. It's almost like she had a radar for positive Shedeur coverage and felt compelled to counter it immediately. The fourth-team quarterback narrative became her go-to weapon. She'd repeat it in interviews, articles, and social media posts, as if saying it enough times would make it the definitive truth. But here's what she didn't account for. Actual football people, the players, coaches, and insiders who see the daily work were forming completely different opinions based on what they witnessed firsthand. This wasn't just poor reporting, it was actively misleading. When you have a rookie quarterback who's demonstrating NFL caliber skills, building relationships with veteran players and showing the kind of maturity that coaches love, reducing him to fourth team status isn't analysis, it's narrative manipulation. And as we'll see, this approach was about to backfire spectacularly, because you can only ignore obvious talent for so long before reality forces everyone to pay attention. Now here's where Mary Kay Cabot's carefully constructed narrative started to crumble, and it happened in the most authentic way possible, through the voices of the players who actually matter. While she was busy spinning stories from press boxes and media rooms, the guys who line up across from Shedeur Sanders every single day were forming very different opinions. The first track in her narrative came from Joe Flacco, and let me tell you why this moment was so significant. Flacco isn't just any veteran. He's a Super Bowl MVP who's played with elite quarterbacks throughout his career. He's seen rookies come and go, watched promising prospects flame out, and witnessed genuine talent emerge. When a player of his caliber speaks about a rookie, people listen. But what made Flacco's comment so powerful wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. Asked about Shedeur's presence around the facility, Flacco didn't give some generic, "he's working hard," response. Instead, he got genuinely animated, talking about how Shedeur makes him crack a smile in meeting rooms. That might sound simple, but think about what that really means. It means Shedeur isn't just surviving in those high-pressure quarterback meetings, he's contributing, he's engaging, and he's doing it with the kind of personality that makes seasoned veterans enjoy being around him. Then came Denzel Ward's revelation through Chad Johnson, and this one hit different. Ward is a Pro Bowl cornerback who faces elite quarterbacks twice a year in the AFC North. He's gone against Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Russell Wilson. When a defensive player of that caliber says a rookie quarterback looks different, that's not casual praise, that's professional recognition of something special. But the real knockout punch came from Myles Garrett, the team captain and face of the franchise. Garrett doesn't hand out endorsements lightly. His reputation and leadership credibility are on the line with every public statement he makes. When he said he was genuinely excited to have Shedeur on the team and praised his maturity and professionalism, that wasn't just support, that was a captain publicly backing his quarterback. David Njoku connection added another layer entirely. Here's a veteran tight end who's played with multiple quarterbacks, and the chemistry he's building with Shedeur is visible even in practice clips. Their on-field communication, the timing of their routes, the trust they're developing. This isn't something you can fake or manufacture for media consumption. What makes all of this so damaging to Cabot's narrative is the authenticity factor. These aren't scripted press conference soundbites or carefully managed media moments. These are genuine reactions from players who have nothing to gain by hyping up a fifth-round rookie if he wasn't actually impressive. Veterans protect their own credibility. They're not going to publicly endorse someone unless they truly believe in what they're seeing. The message was becoming impossible to ignore. While Mary Kay Cabot was busy trying to minimize Shedeur Sanders, the people who actually work with him were recognizing something special. And then came the moment that exposed everything, the complete collapse of Mary Kay Cabot's credibility in real time. After months of dismissing Shedeur Sanders, downplaying his progress, and pushing alternative narratives, she found herself in an impossible position. The evidence was mounting, the veteran support was undeniable, and her own reputation was starting to suffer from her obvious bias. The turning point came when she could no longer ignore what everyone else was seeing. In what can only be described as a complete 180-degree reversal, Cabot suddenly started acknowledging Shedeur's qualities, the same qualities she had been systematically ignoring for months. She began praising his maturity, calling him forthcoming, and highlighting his composure in interviews and press conferences. But here's what makes this reversal so telling. She didn't just quietly adjust her coverage. She went from actively diminishing his role to suddenly recognizing his dynamic personality and professional demeanor. The same quarterback she had relegated to fourth-team status was now someone she described as handling pressure with remarkable poise for his age. This wasn't gradual recognition based on new information. This was damage control. When respected veterans like Joe Flacco, Myles Garrett, and Denzel Ward are publicly supporting a player you've been dismissing, continuing that narrative becomes professionally dangerous. Sports media credibility is built on being right about talent evaluation, and Cabot was finding herself on the wrong side of an increasingly obvious story. The most damaging aspect of this reversal is what it reveals about her original reporting. If Shedeur Sanders truly possesses the maturity, professionalism, and talent she now acknowledges, then her months of dismissive coverage wasn't based on objective analysis. It was based on something else entirely. Whether that was personal bias, predetermined narratives, or simply poor evaluation skills, the result is the same, a significant credibility hit. What makes this situation even more problematic is the timing. Cabot's change of tune didn't come after some dramatic improvement in Shedeur's play or a major development in his role with the team. It came after the weight of veteran endorsements made her previous position untenable. That suggests her reporting was never really about what was happening on the field. It was about maintaining a narrative that was becoming increasingly divorced from reality. The broader implications here extend beyond just one reporter's coverage of one player. This situation highlights a fundamental problem in sports media. What happens when narrative-driven reporting collides with obvious talent? When reporters become so invested in their initial takes that they can't objectively evaluate new information. For Cabot, this reversal represents more than just being wrong about a player. It represents a fundamental failure of the journalistic process. Good reporting requires the ability to adjust positions based on new evidence, but it also requires initial positions to be based on sound analysis rather than predetermined conclusions. The fact that she had to make such a dramatic reversal suggests her original coverage failed on both counts. So here we are, watching the complete vindication of Shedeur Sanders and the simultaneous collapse of the narrative that tried to diminish him. This isn't just a story about a rookie quarterback proving doubters wrong. It's a masterclass in how authentic talent eventually forces everyone to pay attention, regardless of the obstacles placed in its path. The lesson here extends far beyond football. When you have genuine ability, when you conduct yourself with professionalism, and when you earn the respect of the people who matter most, your teammates and coaches, no amount of media manipulation can keep you down permanently. Shedeur Sanders didn't respond to the dismissive coverage with complaints or controversy. He responded with performance, character, and the kind of leadership that makes veterans want to play with him. Mary Kay Cabot's journey from dismissive critic to reluctant admirer serves as a cautionary tale for anyone in the business of evaluating talent. When your analysis becomes so clouded by predetermined narratives that you miss obvious ability, you don't just get the story wrong, you damage your own credibility in the process. The real question now isn't whether Shedeur Sanders will succeed in the NFL. The veterans have already answered that. The question is how long it will take for the rest of the media to catch up to what the locker room already knows. Because when Joe Flacco, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, and David Njoku are all telling you the same thing about a player's potential, maybe it's time to listen. What do you think? Have you noticed this pattern in sports media coverage? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the stories. Tomorrow, we're breaking down another case of media narratives versus reality that will shock you.